So this video is on an absolutely critical issue in terms of getting yoga off the mat and into the rest of our lives. So the tension, you can think of it as, is between the container and transfer, between a special place we go and realism. So why, first of all, do we need to have a yoga class? It's a very fundamental question. Why do we need a practice or a dojo or a shala or a special place we go to work on ourselves? Well, normal life, we can work on ourselves, but there's several problems. It's too consequential. So when I'm at work, my focus needs to be on my work, or if you're with your kids, you know, on life, right? If you're crossing the road, your focus is not getting hit by the car, yeah? So your life generally is too consequential. You can lose your wife or your business or whatever it is, yeah? It's not safe. Right? So that's essentially what we're trying to create here, is a safe space, not in the American college campus sense, but a place for transformative work that has little consequence. As I say, often I joke, you know, yoga's brilliant because it doesn't matter. If you stand on one leg and you fall over, it doesn't really matter, right? As long as you don't hurt yourself, yeah? So it's also not controllable out in the world. You can't say to your wife or your kids, you know, can you be 20% less annoying because I'm working on the optimal place to practice my, you know, relaxation skills right now. So it's not controllable, it's too many consequences, it's random, you know, so we need this place that's different from that is safer. We usually have some kind of ritual element to mark beginning and end, like the rituals at the beginning and end of a yoga class, even if it's just a small namaste or an om or whatever it is. Most classes have something. And this container where different rules apply, and it's normally a simplified place. So a key one in yoga, for example, is you have your little mat, so you're not running around the room generally, right? You don't talk, yeah? So in life, you chat, and you don't in yoga generally, yeah? There's things taken out. Like once you've paid your money, you're not like doing deals in yoga. So money's taken out. Sex is pretty much taken out in most yogas, so you're not like hitting on the person next to you, or hopefully, yeah? And so you've simplified life so you can study it. You can look at the different things in life and actually make it easy, safe, simplified, and ritualized enough that you can examine it. So that's the key elements of any kind of dojo, as they say in martial arts. Yeah, I think it's a lovely concept, a place of the way, a place to develop yourself. Now, you'll notice we're starting to get quite different from life now. We might be using special yoga clothes or special language, like Sanskrit, for example. We're in this ritual, you know, we're not talking, so it's quite different. And we've built what we could call a container. So the metaphor here is that the container needs to be firm enough. And there's other aspects to that, like being well boundaried with time, for example, as a teacher, not turning up late, for example. There's other boundaries to the container, but that's a key one, not letting people just come and go, or, well, you let them, but I won't let people into a class for a while after 5 minutes. You know, there's some sense of the container that is the crucible where the transformative work happens. There's a firmness to that, like a womb. It needs to be not just like open, but like firm, but flexible, yeah? So that's the container. It's quite different from outside life, and therein is the problem. So it's a paradox here, it's a tension. If we make it too different, you're not gonna get the transfer to life. Yeah, so this is where like some of the practices we use in EYP come in, like little talking bits, but they're concentrated, they're specific talking bits. It's not just chatting. Because if the container is too different from the rest of your life, you're not gonna get it off the mat. Yeah, I remember an example. I was doing Aikido for 10 years, and then one day I forget my Aikido clothes. We call it the gi and hakama. And I went to Aikido class, and I couldn't do Aikido. Like, I was terrible. I was like a white belt. And I was like, oh my God, I've been training for 10 years to fight, and now I've actually lost the ability to do that just because I've got a pair of jeans on instead of like my Japanese clothes. It's called state-dependent learning. There's lots of good studies on this. For example, there's one where they teach people something underwater and then they can't do it on dry land. You'd think it'd be easier, but they've learned it underwater. Yeah. You'll notice this sometimes if you just turn around. You know, you'll be in a room, you'll learn something, you'll turn around, you can't even do it facing the other way. Like that's how dependent our learning can be. On specifics, yeah? So you need to also make bridging practices. You need to loosen that container, particularly towards the end of a class when you want people to leave the container to take it off the mat. And look at our videos on the yoga sandwich and micro posture practice, and you know, we're doing a video on working with cell phones even. We're using communication in yoga, because without these ways to loosen the container, without making it a little bit more like real life, it's just going to stay there. It's going to stay on the mat, and that's pointless. Why bother? Yeah. So for me, being aware of this tension is really a critical thing. The first stage is just to be aware of it, right? That if it's not different enough, if it's just like life, then it's not a practice space. You don't have the safety, the containment. And if it's too different, it's going to stay in this very special place. So, you're wearing the special yoga clothes or using the special language. There's things like that that I often avoid. I often turn up to yoga just in the clothes that I'm working with, my combat trousers and a t-shirt if it's a gentle hatha yoga class. And I discourage the teachers that I train from using, a jargon and things like that, because I think it's unnecessary. So yeah, there's the tension there. Have a look at that. And this channel is really all about bridging that gap and working with that tension. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. More importantly, however, get the newsletter. So the newsletter you do, is that right? In the box here? Okay. So why you would want the newsletter? So you hear about the best videos, so you actually ask me questions, you can reply to the newsletter, I'll reply. You can hear about events, teacher trainings, other things that are happening, and stay in touch more reliably. So newsletter there.